Dragon Ball Sparking Zero patch notes are finally here. They just came out from the Dragon Ball Games official account on Japan, and the first three things that they actually advertised to us are all stages unlocked in local battles, the character swap feature is different, and a new team member customization option is available in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now this does have buffs, nerfs, stage differences, and it has a long list of changes, and I want to go through all of them real quick. But actually, the homie Indakuba just did the translations for all of them, so I'll be going through them on his page. Again, link in the description to Indakuba's Twitter page, because again, one of the most reliable Dragon Ball YouTubers of all time. So let's get into this. So starting from the top, free update from Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, new features and adjustments. Latest update details for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, new features, battle system adjustments, and more. Android 19 and Dr. Goro. Now, they're at the top of this list because obviously they caused a huge ruckus during the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero official tournament, so I'm wondering what the changes are for them. Health and ki absorbed on successful throw have been adjusted, so obviously they've lowered the amount of health and ki they gain because these characters are already a menace even before that cheese was discovered. And Dragon Dash, Quick Ascent, and Quick Descend now also consumes ki for them, so there'll be no more infinite running with these characters. That's good. Second form Cell, you can now escape his throw. Before he had a throw you couldn't tech, but now you can tech it. Okay. Cooler gains more health when transforming. That's interesting that they only affected Cooler with that, when there are other characters who gain health from transforming too. So you might see a bit more Coolers. Giant characters, increased the time it takes them to charge their smash attack and reduced its power. That was actually a big issue. Giant characters used to be able to do a full health bar from one smash attack. The meta will eventually turns to giant characters, so I could see why they tackled this so early on. Great Ape Vegeta and Dr. Wheelo have their maximum health reduced. This makes sense. These were giant characters who were available at really low costs, and giant characters all have defense buffs, meaning that these were just a bunch of low cost characters that had a massive amount of HP and really had defense, and I could see why that would be an issue. And there are other improved performance issues. That is not the end of the patch notes. There's actually even more regarding how Ki Blasts work, smash attacks, and many more. So this update is actually going to go live tomorrow, December 12th. And again, here are the time zones for anyone curious. You can obviously quickly open a separate tab on Google and check what this is in your relevant time zone. So, yeah. Let's go further on with the patch notes. Now, game mode adjustments, battle. All stages are now available for local battle players. Player 1 versus Player 2 functionality adjustments. Okay, battle setup. A function allowing you to change your character's display method has been added. The My Sets function has been added for team members. So, I'm guessing you can pre-make teams in this, so that way you don't have to build teams from scratch every time you want to swap a team. You could just swap to your favorite custom teams that you've set up, and that's cool, right? So now I don't have to quickly try and swap all my characters at the last second. I can just swap to a team that I usually play, like Goku mid, Teen Gohan, and then any of the relevant DP2 characters I can fit onto that team, etc. So that's pretty cool. Now it's not going to be a hassle just to change teams. Ranks matches and player matches. You can now skip the intro battle animations. Requires both players' input. Thank God the game should have had this from the start, because having to run a new set in Sparking Zero and watch separate intro animations was really jarring, every time. It was so annoying. Player matches. You can now set your team to hidden or revealed to your opponent when editing your team. Ooh, okay. I think everyone's going to set theirs to hidden anyways, but I'm going to set mine to revealed. That I want my enemies to know that they're always going to be fighting Goku mid or Jiren, because that's just the kind of person I am. A custom battle mode. Text is now sorted alphabetically, thank God. Doing text for custom battle mode was unironically actually the most annoying part. It was a nightmare, so this is actually a really cool, very, very cool change. Options. You can now set the battle camera distance to be closer. Battle system adjustments. Okay, so you can actually have the camera be closer to the action now. And high-speed Dragon Dash, new action. The new quick movement action. Oh, this is a new feature overall. Okay. The new quick movement action, high-speed Dragon Dash, where you can quickly dash towards your opponent, has been added. Perform this by holding R2 and holding X. Okay, so high-speed Dragon Dash. So this is a faster version of the regular Dragon Dash, but not the reverse Dragon Dash where you go around the opponent. This is just Dragon Dash but faster. If you press the Dragon Dash button, you would get normal Dragon Dash, but now if you hold it, you get an even faster version. If you double tap it, that's when you get the mechanic where you go behind the person. So this is a new option entirely. Holy crap. This makes me, hold on. This whole thing makes me super hyped for future Sparking Zero updates, because we could genuinely get new options for gameplay, right? Xenoverse added Limit Burst after the game was out for 5 years, and that's just an annoying mechanic that no one likes. This is actually something new already, And admittedly, it did take 2 months to add this, right? But this is super cool. I can't wait to see what other features they'll add or how much high-speed Dragon Dash will get used, because this is a new way to attack opponents without having to always do the thing where you go behind them. So that's actually really cool. Smash attacks. You will no longer be stunned when being hit by a rush ki blast when charging a smash attack. Thank God. So smash attacks are a good way to get through people who are trying to low diff you with ki blasts at close range. And when charging a smash attack or during a rush attack, the charge time reduction based on hit count has been increased. Okay, so it'll take longer to charge a smash attack, I guess, if you are being hit by rush attacks, right? No, when charging a smash attack. Okay, so if you try to charge a smash attack in the middle of your rush attack combo, it'll take longer. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I can see why. And rush ki blasts. The time between being able to fire the next rush ki blast after firing the maximum consecutive amounts at once is different for each character, has been increased. So we won't see like as aggressive ki blast spam as we've been getting the whole game. This is obviously a way to nerf ki blast spamming in this game in general, because you get characters like Goku Black, Trunks, anyone with an unblockable ki blast. They'll spam you with regular rush ki blasts and then throw in a charge ki blast every now and then go back to spamming you with rush ki blast until their next charge ki blast is available. This shouldn't be a thing anymore because the time between firing the next set of rush ki blasts has been increased. So again, it's different for every character, but nonetheless, ki blast spam will be less a thing. This will realistically make after image strike stronger, unless there's enough for after image strike somewhere in here. But we'll wait and see. Rush ki blast deflection. You can now move while deflecting rush ki blast. Thank you. Thank the stars. Thank the Matrix. Thank Grand Zeno. Thank everybody, man. Oh my goodness. It was so annoying having to just sit there and be forced to just be blocking rush ki blast endlessly while the enemy is going to predictably drop an ultimate attack on me for being stupid enough to sit there and block everything. I don't want to sit there and deflect all the attacks. I want to get out of the way of the super attack coming my way. The enemy's throwing a charge ki blast that's unblockable. I don't want to deflect. I want to be out of its way. I want to move. So I'm very glad they've added this in. Honestly, features like this make me feel like Sparking Zero, and I know this is very typical for games nowadays. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think Sparking Zero released as a finished game? Because features like this are so key. I feel like they should have been in the game from the start. So let me know what you guys think about Sparking Zero's development. But I think we are getting the real game right now, and they most likely released the game early because of Dragon Ball Daima. I think the game was definitely actually supposed to be a December game, but we got it early for Dragon Ball Daima, and probably to be consistent with the Tenkaichi games always coming out in October as well. Steps. You will now no longer be able to be hit by certain attacks immediately after performing a step. Interesting. What kind of attacks? I'm very curious about what kind of attacks that will be. So stepping will be better in this game in general. Okay, that's nice to see. Very nice to see. Rush ki blasts and smash ki blasts can now also be... Oh! So steps also dodge ki blasts as well now. Okay, so the ki blast spam meta is really going down. That's very nice to see. Okay, Z burst dash. The amount of ki consumed activating has been increased. Obviously, this is to make it so that people use the high-speed Dragon Dash more often, because this is using up even more ki than it did. This already used up a decent amount of ki before, but now you're actively being punished for spamming it. So that's actually very interesting to see. The game's meta is actually gonna... It's looking like the game's meta is gonna be very different. Burst smash. Ki will no longer be consumed when activating it, and it will instead consume an amount based on the distance traveled. All right. That's very interesting to see. I'm curious to see how much ki is gonna get used for it though. And blast. Okay, blast. Damage has been increased when using a boost. Is this for super attack blast, or is this for... What kind of blast are we talking about? So either way, I think things that buff... I'm gonna interpret it like this so far. Things that buff ki blast damage will do a lot more for ki blast damage than they were doing before, basically. So instant sparking skills will be stronger, but this also makes Evolution Blue Vegeta a complete monster. He's even stronger than he was before now. Z-Search. Z-Search will no longer lose track of your opponents when characters are swapped. Okay. You'll now quickly regain sight of your opponent if they enter your line of sight from the front when Z-Search is not locked onto them. So this will actually make it so that when you get hit by ultimate attacks, you can now actually play the game, which is good. You can actually see your opponent right away. And this also makes instant transmission abuse a lot less annoying to deal with. And Z-Search will no longer lose track of your opponents when characters are swapped. I don't think that was ever an issue to begin with, right? I don't think it ever did. Z counter. Okay, so this stuff is going to be interesting. The input window has been shortened, so Z counter should be harder to do. Yeah, Z counter will become more difficult to perform. Okay, so the longer it goes on, the harder it gets. Thank God. Thank God. This was one of the most boring mechanics to get locked into. I am so glad it's going to get harder as it goes on, because that took up way too much of the match. So much of the match depended on if you got the Z counter or not, and it was really damn annoying. So I'm glad to see that that's changed. Key consumed has been increased when successfully performing. Okay, so now when you do a Z counter right, it takes up more key too. This is extra good. Skill count increase speed has been reduced. Oh, yes. Oh my god, okay. So the Z counter mechanic is actually way less annoying now. All of this is so good to me, man. More of the game is actually going to be about the core gameplay and not just Z countering until whichever person has more key wins, and then the other person gains a bunch of skill counter, and it just becomes the most boring thing ever. This is such a nice thing to read, man. Oh my god. Revenge counter. Skill count has been consumed when using perception against revenge counter has been... Oh! So if you use a revenge counter to block a... Wait, hold on. Skill count consumed when using perception against revenge counter. Okay, so no. If you use perception, this should say perception then, or revenge counter. This is technically a buff to perception. But when using perception against a revenge counter, instead of using up 2 skill counts, use up 1, which is really good, because I hated the fact that it took 2 skill counter just to be disrespectful. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't use perception against revenge counter because it was good, because it really wasn't good. I used it to be disrespectful, but now it actually has use. 1 skill counter to block a revenge counter. Revenge counters cost 2 skill counters, mind you. So now this is always worth doing. If you notice a revenge counter, always perception it. That's such a good change. Rush attacks during sparking mode. Gradual damage reduction of consecutive hits has been increased. So attacks will do less damage the longer you do a sparking mode combo. This is very good. This lowers how much abuse characters take, and I love to see it. So, combos. The final attack of an aerial combo and aerial slash combos will no longer be interrupted by guarding. Okay, very nice to see. So now people can't randomly just block in the middle of your final attacks during your combos, which is great to see. Character switching. Health recovery of standby characters has been reduced. This is actually really good to hear, because people would put on a bunch of really low tier characters on their team just so they can keep swapping out and keep getting massive amounts of health. So I like to see that. Z burst dash for giant characters. The tackle done by giant characters versus Z burst dash is now guardable. Yes. Yeah. Oh my. So all of these patches are so nice. I like these patches. I see After Image Strike. Hold on. Let's scroll up. I'm not going to spoil myself. I see After Image Strike there, and I'm very curious to see what that is. But all of these patches so far have been very nice. So, Z-burst dashes from giant characters are now blockable. Okay? And skill adjustments to skills that cause instant sparking mode. Skill count consumed has been increased. So it takes more skill count for giant characters to also go instant sparking mode. That's great to hear. Skills that increase stats in general, skill count consumed has been decreased. Okay, so any skill that buffs you now takes less skill count to use, which is fair, because now we'll see a greater emphasis on people using buffs in the game. By the way, this doesn't count for False Courage. They've already shown False Courage will always require more skill count. But for things that just buff you, skill count has been reduced. This might mean Evolution Blue also will only be 4 skill counter rather than 5. Meaning it's way more realistic for a Vegeta to go Evolution Blue in a match. And Evolution Blue is going to be stronger, because we already read that Blasts are stronger too now. And now buffs. And Vegeta has 2 buffs when he's in Super Saiyan Blue. He has 2 buff skills. So Evolution Blue Vegeta is looking crazy after this update. Oh, here's a big one. After Image Strike. Here we go. So, the effect duration has been reduced to 10 seconds, and it will be removed if your opponent uses... Leave a like. Leave a like. That is godly. I just put out a video talking about After Image Strike and how it needs to be nerfed, and how they could make the timer shorter, or they can make a feature that turns it off. Bro. After Image Strike is no longer the meta. 1 perception and it turns off. People are going to be too scared to use After Image Strike, because everyone uses perception in this game. Everybody uses perception. No one is going to want to rush to Videl, rush to Master Roshi, stay base form with GT Goku, keep Kid Goku on their teams just to have After Image Strike. The game's meta has changed massively, to the point where we will be seeing all sorts of different characters now. I cannot wait to see how this game looks after this patch goes live, because this is huge. This is massive. My god. False Courage. Yeah, like I said, False Courage now takes more skill counter. And the technique, I'll beat you in 5 seconds, has now... The skill count has been increased from 3 to 2, and stats has increased upon activation has been increased. Oh! Okay, so I'll beat you in 5 seconds. Actually got buffed. It takes less skill counter. You have an even bigger buff when it's active. So Super Saiyan 4 Goku should be even crazier than he was before. That's nice to see. Okay. And Stardust Barrier. You can now activate it while... Ooh! You can activate Stardust Barrier while receiving melee attacks from the front. Okay. and it has an adjustment to blast. Long range blast and ultimate blast speed has been reduced. So does it block supers and ultimates like that? What do they mean by... Oh, they mean it's slower to activate. Okay. It's slower to activate now. And it has some sort of new mechanic with long range blasts. But you can also receive it... You can activate it while being hit. Didn't Start This Barrier only cost 1 skill counter? That might make Gogeta Blue immediately meta, because you're just hitting this guy, but he goes, nope, and gets you off of him, right? I mean, granted, he's a 10 DP character. That is a bit more fair, coming from a 10 DP character. But Gogeta Blue should be crazy good now with an adjustment like that. Super Vegito. Okay, so only, not Vegito Blue, Super Vegito. Final Kamehameha is just straight up stronger. Okay, that makes sense, because it was kind of just an okay beam super before, but it's the iconic Final Kamehameha, so I understand that it's probably a 4 key bar super now, and it does way more damage, so that's nice to hear. And Daima Goku, Quick Rush. The trajectory can now be changed while rushing, so when he's doing the Quick Rush melee super, he can now adjust his movements, so that way he can aim towards the target better. That's nice. Mr. Satan Present Bomb increased the end lag after activation. So basically, when you use the move, if you miss the target, or if you don't hit them at all, it takes longer to recover from it, meaning Satan should be easier to punish, which is good, because we don't want the devil to prosper. And that is the end of the patch notes. Wow. Honestly, this comment says it best. They fixed like 90% of the issues in this update. That's actually crazy. Holy crap. Sparking Zone is legit a different game now with this update. That's actually crazy. And I'm very glad to see that they actually addressed immediate issues, like the stuff that came up in the tournament. They took action on that instantly. They didn't let that slide at all. That's actually... This is crazy. The game will legit just play entirely differently. Like, we'll be seeing new characters. Every character will feel different with the adjustment to skill counters and the way the Z counter mechanic works. Everything has changed now. This is actually crazy. Again, if you guys want to read through this yourself, link in the description. Please check out Intercuba. Intercuba, like I said already, is one of the most reliable Dragon Ball content creators ever. So please go check him out. This was absolute content, because this, if I had to read the rough translation of this page, I would have not been able to figure out what most of this meant. So massive shout out to Intercuba for helping me out with this, for helping everyone else for this. And that will be a great place to end it. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please show it by leaving a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. Share the video with your friends so that way they know about the patch notes too, or share this link into Kuba's tweet with your friends. And yeah, leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next. I think my first video is going to be on Evolution Blue Vegeta, because all of this reads to me as this character is going to just be even more crazier. But we'll have to wait and see. For now, that is the end of the video. Love you all. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care and peace.